Yay! It's MVE class. I hope you're excited because I am. And do you know why? It's our last lesson for the term. And today I will be teaching you democracy. Democracy. In this lesson today, you will learn about democracy, its forms, characteristics, and importance. You will also learn about democratic institutions and their functions. And then lastly, you will learn about pillars of democracy. Once again, you're welcome to this lesson. Sit tight as you learn. What is democracy? What is democracy? The word democracy comes from two Greek words, demons meaning people and kratos meaning rule or power. So literally, democracy means rule by the people. According to Abraham Lincoln, democracy is the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Democracy is a form of government in which the power and authority comes from the people. There are basically three forms of democracy, and they are the direct democracy, the indirect or representative democracy, and the constitutional democracy. These are the forms of democracy. The direct democracy. This is where all citizens attend the assembly and take part in decision making in order to govern the state or the society. Then the indirect or the representative democracy is a type of democracy where citizens through election elect those who will represent and govern the state on their behalf. And then the constitutional democracy is another modern form of democracy. This is a type of democracy where the right to rule is derived from the constitution. Okay? It's derived from the constitution. Constitutional democracy observes the principles of the rule of law. These are the forms of democracy. Quickly, we are moving to characteristics of democracy. Characteristics of democracy. One is that certain fundamental human rights must be enjoyed by the citizens, and that will enable them to live a civilized life. Two is that there must be free and fair election devoid of rigging. Then three is that the government should respect the rule of law and the fundamental human rights of citizens. Number four, we have that there must be an independent judiciary. There must be an independent judiciary. Number five, there must be regular and periodic election. There must be regular and periodic election. And then number six, we have that there should be free press. The mass media of the country should be free to write and report events in the country. Number seven, we have that there should be at least two political parties and their ideas which the citizens will have to choose from. And then the last but not the least in this video is that there must be separation of power. Okay? The functions of the three arms of government are not performed by one arm of the government. So there must be separation of power. These are the characteristics, some of the characteristics of democracy. Quickly, we are going to look at importance of democracy. Importance of democracy. Number one, Democracy gives the electorate, that is voters, the opportunity to elect leaders of their choice. Okay? And then number 2 is that everybody has a right to make suggestions in democracy. Then number 3, everyone has a right to nominate a person for election. And lastly is that there is equality and freedom of all persons and safety of possessions where democracy operates. Okay, so there's freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of education, freedom of movement, etc., etc. These are some of the importance of democracy. Quickly, we are going to move to democratic institutions. Democratic institutions. When we talk about democratic institutions, these are bodies, organized bodies or institutions that promote the operations of democracy. They are set up to promote the operations of the democratic progress. And these are the Independent National Electoral Commission, that is INEC. Then we have the political parties, we have pressure groups, and then we have arms of government. These are the 4 democratic institutions. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, is a body which has the responsibility to organize, conduct elections in the country. Okay? INEC performs the following functions, such as conducting a free and fair election, INEC performs the following functions, such as conducting a free and fair election, registering of voters, that is electorate, and political parties. They provide electoral materials and educate the electorate, that is voters, and then they also announce the result of elections. All right, these are the functions of INEC. Then we have the political parties. A political party is an organized group of citizens who act together as a political unit having similar aims and objectives to seek to control the government. And examples of political parties in Nigeria are the People's Democratic Party (PDP), All Progressive Congress (APC), All People's Grand Alliance, that's APGA, APGA, and then we have the Nigerian People's Party (ANPP), we have Labour Party (LP), etc. These are some of the political parties in Nigeria. The political parties perform functions such as contesting elections, provision of social amenities and infrastructure, providing machinery for the recruitment of political leaders, and they also serve as a link between the people and the government. Then we have number 3, the pressure group. A pressure group is an organized social interest group formed with the main aims of pursuing the interest of its member and also to influence government policies. And some of the functions of pressure groups are they offer useful suggestions to the government, they promote economic stability, they also act as link between the people and the government, and they act as watchdog over political policies. Yes, so these are the functions of the political group. And lastly, we have is the arms of government. There are 3 major arms of or organs of government: They are the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. Each of these arms perform different functions in establishing democracy. Okay, some of the functions is that the executive arm of government are responsible for the implementation, execution, or enforcement of laws, while the legislature carry out the function of making laws, and the judiciary, which is the third arm of government, are responsible for interpreting and application of laws when they are violated. Okay, so these are the functions of the executive, the legislature, and the judiciaries. Wow, we are getting close to the end of this lesson. Lastly, we have now is pillars of democracy. Pillars of democracy. When we talk about pillars of democracy, we are referring to human and non-human factors that contribute to the smooth running of democratic process in a given democratic society. Okay? And those parameters or those pillars include the people. The people are the bedrock of democracy. Yes, they are the bedrock of democracy. The aim of any government is to meet the needs of the people. And number two we have is the rule of law. This concept explains that all citizens are equal before the law, and the law protects its citizens. Number three, we have transparent electoral process. A free and fair electoral system will lay a solid foundation for democracy. Number four, we have the majority rule. This is a form of representative democracy where people actually participate in the election of their leaders. Next we have is the Constitution. The Constitution is a written document that guides those in authority. Okay? A constitution will ensure that democracy is sustained and maintained. All right, then number six we have is the sovereignty of the people. Sovereignty of the people. The law is supreme, and the supreme law makes authority. Then we have number seven, which is respect for human rights. Human rights must be respected. And the last but not the least is that due process of the law must be followed. Due process of the law must be followed. So these are the pillars of democracy. With this, we have come to the end of this lesson. Wow, thank you for staying to the end of this lesson, and I hope you enjoyed yourself. I'll see